Well, the best way to get into my story is, if you're familiar with the Christmas story, forget everything you know about Christmas. Forget about the Mary you know as you think of Mary. You have a picture in your mind of Joseph. Forget that picture and just get into my story. Use what literary people like to call a willing suspension of disbelief. You know, when you read that vampire story, you know there's no such thing as a vampire, but you accept the existence of the vampire for the sake of the story. So the story makes sense within itself. And it's the same thing here. I want you to sort of suspend what you normally think of as the Christmas story, as Mary, the Mary you think of, as Joseph, the Joseph you think of, and instead just accept the story as I'm telling it, with Mary as this young, innocent teenager, Joseph as this kind of mid-20s. He's not the old man that is typically portrayed, but this young man who's really in love with this young girl, and this young girl who loves him. And the other thing to think about, something that's usually missing, we don't see this brought out in the Christmas story very often, but ask yourself, what was Satan up to while Jesus was coming into the world, being born into the world? What was Satan doing to stop it? Now, you know, the Son of God is way too powerful for Satan to take on directly, so he has to use some indirect solution. What better way than to kill the mother? And that's the key to the suspense in this story. How do we keep Satan from killing the mother? It's a very exciting kind of story, mixed in with the romance of Joseph and Mary, mixed in with the excitement and the tragedy, if you will, of this young virgin announcing that she's pregnant, announcing that she's been talking to angels, announcing that her baby is fathered by God himself. That's a sin of blasphemy to the people around her. There's this sin of fornication in the people around her, and it's just this whole sense that this young innocent girl has all of a sudden gone crazy. And so how do we deal with that in the story? It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of excitement. It's a very different way of looking at the Christmas story. And you know, my story fills in, as you can imagine, with all those things, fills in all those unsaid parts of the Bible story, especially the fact that Satan would have been doing something to try to stop the birth of Christ.